How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today, yeah, I've unlocked these two. There's a tree harvester and like a logging truck, so I've got to go and do a mission with those. Chop a bit of a forest down to clear a way for another cable layer to connect up some more electric. Yeah, that's kind of the route I'm taking, roughly speaking. There's not really a direct road all the way. The circle you can see on the map is like the patch of forest it wants me to eat up. And yeah, first things first, sending the old tree harvester. And as you can see, it's pretty it's pretty damn slow. There is a couple of things that might help. One, you could go to the shop and buy the non-rusty version, which in theory should be a bit quicker. The other option, though, at least they gave this early in the game. This should fit on it. The step pike, it gives you like a vehicle transporter setup version of one. Right now, it was quite cool. I was driving along and it felt like I was drifting. You can kind of turn the cab going along. You can see where it's got like saw blades sort of appearing near the tree. When it turns green, it'd be, if you then hit X, it'd go into like an animation of chopping it down and all the rest of it. I was just like messing around with the controls while I was on the way. Yeah, that step pike car transporter thing, you should be able to drive this up onto it and then you can in theory go a bit quicker. This thing does look pretty wide though, so I don't know how, especially that it's off-roading for the journey there, like it might tip. Just throwing out as well, the reason why I left that bit in, I originally planned to go further down and across, and I believe on my live stream that is what I did. However, when I got here, I saw a road turning off and thought, oh, I'll have a look, and I ended up deleting my marker and going this way instead. It's not the end of the world, but as you can see, you thought it was slow before, it's horrifically slow when it's kind of driving through mud, and I'm not even in low gear at the minute. This is like as quick as it gets when you're driving like off-road. I think I would have been better just carrying on down the road and cutting across, essentially making my own way. You do find a boggy bit every now and then, and you can see it's pretty damn slow going across this bridge as well, but just after I get off this bridge, you'll see roughly how fast it goes when you're actually on like non-boggy land and all the rest of it. It is a little bit better than this. But yeah, that's why I ended up thinking this way was a bit of a mistake, because there was loads of boggy mud to drive through, and then there was that bridge, and yeah, it was only this last little bit really where it, relatively speaking, got its foot down, but not by much, hence there was a fair bit of editing going on. But Kelly's back. I actually don't mind it, to be honest. I quite like that she pops up and kind of yaps on a bit about what's going on. Yeah, so, I mean, it's good at first. It brings this box up to the left of the screen. You need to saw down trees in this area, bring the harvester vehicle you've received, position it near a tree so the indicator turns green. Hold L1 and X. Right now, I'm manually operating it, and you can definitely tell this game was made by the same people as SnowRunner, because the trees, the branches are like completely OP. They'll fight a vehicle. As I'm manually trying to extend my arm to grab the tree, I just wanted to get it close enough so that saw blade turns green. Yeah, the tree branch was just fighting with me and pinging off my vehicle to the side and all sorts. In the end, it's far easier. Just drive it up, and then it automatically, when you're close enough, it goes green, then press X. Or I suppose you're holding L1 and press X, and it will just go into its own animation. So even if it is trying to fight a branch or whatever, it should just automatically do that. I didn't try manually after that, because it doesn't really make much difference anyway, to be honest. Yeah, I also did a bit of a bird's eye view. One thing I do think is pretty cool this game is that the map is kind of real time, as in when you go to the bird's eye view, it really is what's going on, even to the point it sort of watched that tree get demolished from a bird's eye view. So yeah, it kind of strips all the branches off them, flicks them out of the way. They sit. I don't even think they end up in a pile or anything. I think they just phase through the map after a second or two. Again, I had a quick look in the bird's eye view, and then yeah, you'll see now the chainsaw come out of the bottom of it once it's stripped enough of the log off. Chops that in half, and then the rest, like the top of the tree, it just sort of discards that, and you end up with a log. I tried driving over one. These are the ones we're going to have to come and collect soon. Yeah, they probably, in this game, could do with toning down. There's various, like, train tracks or crane tracks on some of the first maps that... It's not the end of the world, you can get over them, but as well, like that, driving over that log, there's a few kind of log paths in the game as well that are a little bit... When you're driving over them, your vehicle tends to, like, bounce like crazy. There's absolutely no giving them whatsoever, so I wouldn't hold my breath. And again, it's not game breaking or particularly annoying, but I reckon this, in theory, should and could have been able to rally over that log a bit better than it did. But yeah, overall, I actually like this vehicle, and sort of sawing trees down. It's quite chilled and therapeutic, and obviously I don't just have to do these. I can go off on my own and get pretty much any tree. While it's here as well, if you look in the top right, I've nearly got, like, I'm down to the last tree. It says use the harvester to clear the trees around the station, and then underneath it says clear the area of objects. It didn't really specifically change the mission, like, it didn't really give me much of a hint when I chopped this tree down, but the mission at the top now changes to, it says bring resources to the zone, logs 0 out of 5. So yeah, it's a bit like a 2-part mission. It just didn't come up saying like halfway through sort of stage completed or anything. Get that last one chopped. And then I'm going to have to bring the logging thing down here and kind of... I did trim more than 5 trees, but I believe I can just pick kind of whichever 5 that I want to do. Oh, I suppose in theory, actually. I never really thought about it. I could have got more. There's, by the way, a little toy truck on that turned over rail car thing, so I'm just throwing it out there because it's worth 10 grand if you get it to the construction thing, cash it in. And yeah, this is the logging truck again. Well, I think it's pretty cool. I like it's got massive fat tyres on it, which is pretty good. It is the rusty version, so in theory I could buy one that goes a bit quicker, but as you can see, this speed I don't mind. I can live with this. I did smash into a tree now. I'm blaming my cat because he was turning up. He likes to rub his face on like charger cables from my PlayStation, my phone charger cable, and he was hitting it and knocking my phone off charge. And yeah, so I hit a tree stump. I decided then though to try this same route. You can see the big tracks where I managed to bring the forester thing through here. This thing does work a lot better, a lot quicker overall across some pretty dense mud. I said the other day, like years and years ago when I was about, I don't know, 10 or 11 or something, we went on a trip to Northumberland, which is either the very north of England or like just as you get into Scotland. And yeah, one of the things they did was took us to like a tree felling forestry place at like 60,000 hectares or something. And there was machines a bit like this, a lot newer than this. This looks like it's something from sort of the 70s or whatever. Yeah, they had, well, relatively brand new stuff. There's probably even more modern stuff now, but we're probably talking like, I don't know, around the year 2000. And it was actually pretty cool. They're on like really steep sections of, not quite mountain, but it's pretty bloody hilly, like a good 45 degrees. And yeah, there were sort of vehicles like this, some that had the logging thing on the back, and others that were doing essentially what that tree harvester thing was doing, but they were both on machines more like this. And yeah, it was actually pretty cool, like how crazy how off-road capable they are, like the hills they were going up whilst they were trimming trees and just flinging them around with a crane and all sorts was pretty cool. You know, it was the same trip as well. For years I've tried to find out the hotel we actually went to. I'd recognise it in a picture, but I typed in Northumberland hotels and I couldn't find it. But next to the hotel was like a big gorge, had like a little stream sort of running through it, and we were on a school trip, and God, I can't even remember what we were doing that day, but we're all in a group and the teachers, like, we walked down a path down to the bottom of the gorge, was crossing like a little wooden bridge and then go back up and I don't know, just going off into the woods I suppose to do something. And as we were crossing the bridge, I said like, there's a bear over there. It must have been like 100-ish foot away, maybe 150, but there was a black bear drinking out of the river. And I seen it and said there's a bear, and then a few of my mates were looking like, is it? And we couldn't really work it out, and then sort of said to one of the teachers like, there's a bear there just drinking out the water, like a black bear. It definitely, like, unmistakably larger than any dog or anything. And the teacher was umming and ahhing like, yeah, is it a bear? And I think they asked one of the other teachers, and then in the end they were just like, well, let's just be careful. And it's like, the weird thing was, I don't even think we have wild black bears or anything in the UK, certainly as far as I know. And I don't, well, I mean, Scotland and England pretty much the same as far as that goes. I don't think they've got animals running around other than Scottish people that we don't. And yeah, it was just a bear drinking out of the river. And I don't think anyone was prepared for the notion that there was bears. So yeah, in the end it was like, well, just be careful. And it's just funny looking back, like there's a bunch of 10 and 11 year olds walking around with a with a black bear like 100, 150 foot away, drinking out a river. But again, it was moving. It wasn't something like a stuffed animal sitting there or some prank or whatever. It was, yeah, not as big as the big fat brown bear things you see on YouTube, but it was a bear. And it was definitely, I'd put my money on the bear versus any of the kids we were with. I wasn't too worried. I used to run for my county at the time, so I knew guaranteed, like, I ain't got to outrun the bear. I've just got to outrun at least one other person. And at that time I was probably one of, if not the fastest person in Northumberland, so it definitely wasn't getting me. But yeah, it just always makes me laugh looking back, like, God knows, I don't even know what they'd do these days again. I think we just didn't accept that it was a bear, because I don't think we have bears. But we do now, apparently. Anyway, yeah, it's a bit of a random one. Just still makes me laugh to this day. Getting the logs, the good thing is this feels... It was just pure muscle memory. As soon as I was driving this thing, like, all the buttons just feel like SnowRunner. Which was good. The crane also feels like strong enough. It's throwing the logs around even when you rotate the cargo and all the rest of it. If I remember correctly, the log rotation in SnowRunner is actually a lot snappier than like the cargo rotation. But nonetheless, yeah, the crane feels strong enough that it's controlling the log. The log isn't like making your crane sort of struggle and that. I think I also grabbed a few slightly off centre and it wasn't really tipping the crane too much or anything. So yeah, overall pretty good. I don't know if the non-rusty version, it has improved stats. I don't know if that goes as far as the crane, but I can't really complain. Like, this, I assume, is the rustiest, oldest logging truck I can kind of get in the game, and it's doing just fine. The other cool thing is, unlike, say, SnowRunner, you'd put, was it 3 logs in the back and then pack cargo, and it'd automatically turn into like a log trailer, whatever thing, full of logs, which I actually thought was perfectly fine, doesn't bother me or anything. But in this game, it is more sort of raw, like I've put 5 logs in the back, click the straps, and yeah, it holds them down. I assume I could keep stacking logs until they're pretty much overflowing out the little bars that are sort of holding them in. And thinking about it, I should have probably tried grabbing at least one more. Yeah, that's what she said. I just got 5 because that was like the mission. I needed 5, but yeah, I did cut down more than 5 trees. So in fact, there's like, I'm running over a log right now. I think there's one over to the right as well. So while I was at it, I probably should have just I don't know, tried to collect. I must have cut down 8 to 10 trees at least, I would have thought. I edited some of the footage out. Again, I actually thought it was pretty cool, and again, you sort of gotta be reminded in this game that I don't, like, that was a mission and it had a certain area, and the trees it wanted me to cut down were like, had little yellow triangles on them. But I can go anywhere I want. All these trees next to me, I could bring the tree harvester and chop those down. You could see when I was driving on the way with the tree harvester, it was randomly bringing up like the orange ripsaw blade thing, like near trees, and going green if you were near enough. So yeah, at my own pace, at my own time, I could go anywhere I want, start chopping down like this patch of trees next to me, then it'd leave tree stumps. I could bring the tree mulcher and chew them out the ground. Then I could bring all the road making equipment, lay sand, smooth it out with a dozer, pave it, roll it out with a roller. Like, I don't know, I mean, there's not trees in the way really here, but obviously I could come here, I could build a bridge over it, or I could bring sand. And yeah, like, it's sort of worth bearing in mind, because you almost forget it really. I sort of do quite often. You just naturally kind of coast along thinking, oh, there's a mission to remove trees. But yeah, in theory, like, this game, I think it'll almost... One good thing I think that'll help with the longevity of the game, that doesn't necessarily mean I think it's going to be like go in solid after 5 years like SnowRunner. It doesn't mean it won't, but I don't know that. But the more you complete this game, the more money you earn, and once you unlock all the better vehicles, you're going to be able to go back to maps, and you've got all the best equipment and all that, and yeah, you really can just like start laying roads and chopping down, like directly go through forests like I always wanted to do in SnowRunner. Really, that's where like the whole thing of ramming trees down became a thing, because it was worth seeing like if I could get little shortcuts here and there. But for the most part, it's certainly like in SnowRunner, an actual patch of trees, like they were always unkillable. It was only ever like you might be able to knock a lone tree down just to cut through like 2 roads that are quite near each other. But yeah, drove to the yellow square to deliver them. It took them off me, said objective complete, and then if you look sort of at the top, there's a yellow thing flashing where it says bridges. So after doing this mission and delivering the logs, it unlocked, I now have 3 types of wooden bridge I can build, and again, I just quickly left this footage in. That's the little toy truck thing that's on top of that, and then when you take it to the store, take the straps off, and then it says sell. It says 10,500 for me, because each of those tyres are worth 250 as well. But yeah, certainly worth cashing in. It bumped me up between those 2 and a forklift and a few other things. I went from sort of 110-ish to about 140 grand I'm on now. So you can see the 3 bridges there. Sorry, I did scroll through them pretty quick. I think they'll show up again in a minute. 2 of the bridges are quite narrow. I like the wooden wide bridge. It doesn't appear to even cost any more, really. It's just, it sits a lot wider than the other ones. So I built a bridge at, it's called like the Castile place or something. It's where I got the pipes and the valve from the other day. And then this is the bridge going into the concrete factory, which is, I'd say, more important, a more important bridge to build, because it's quite awkward to get in that concrete factory otherwise, and I've got missions coming up that are in the concrete factory. Oh yeah, sorry, I'll yapping through that bit, but so I want to go on, I've put those 2 bridges down. They're costing me 2 logs each, so I'm now grabbing some logs from my storage area at my base. But because I was parked where you drop logs off, it automatically took it off me as soon as I put it in my sideboard. Look at this wanker. It's one of the AI drivers. That actually did make me laugh. It's just obviously the line I've drawn kind of cuts over this way. Just drives flat out into me, starts honking, runs over me. Had to fold me crane anchors in so like he was sort of wedged on them. Yeah, that's one thing I do quite like, the AI vehicles driving around. They are idiots half the time, but they're just pretty funny. And again, once you've done the missions, which is usually not that hard, because I've only got to cash in, say, 5 odd times, and they may chew the roads up after that, so you might start getting it flash up saying they're stuck or whatever. But like, it doesn't matter at that point, because you're not losing anything. And yeah, they just are quite funny, I think. As you're driving around, it is just some random NPC driving around on the map and, yeah, doing NPC type things. Yeah, got my logs packed, and I did a mission that was deliver 5 steel beams to my Highland base, the one I was just at where I got the logs from, and it unlocked another mission that's now, it was a side mission, so I didn't have to do it in theory, but it unlocked this, so if anyone's watching wondering what the hell this is, yeah, deliver the 5 steel beams, and then I've got to build this road and then draw an AI route, which actually, that's part of the reason why now I ended up building the bridges, because after you build this road, I think you'll send the AI down this same road I'm going, but you have to cross this bit, or go like a really long, non-roady way round, so I figured like while I'm at it, I've got the logs, I've now unlocked bridges, and I wanted to get this one done anyway, so I kind of did both of them at the same time. And yeah, that's it. Like, as soon as I drive up to the yellow square either side, it takes 2 logs off me and builds a bridge. And again, that's the wide wooden bridge. The other ones are just basically the same width of this vehicle, and you'd have to be quite precise with it, and I don't know, those wide wooden bridges just look a lot better, I think, to be honest. But yeah, that's another good day of roadcrafting going on. What do we use? Yeah, the harvester, the logging truck, and got some bridges built at the end. So yeah, that's about it for today though. I hope you enjoyed, I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Get yourself a loaf, because he's a goddamn professional. I'll get a video done soon, like I managed to launch him into space, I think. Yeah, and I'll be back soon.